Special Representative of the Secretary General for Disaster Risk Reduction, Her Excellency Ms. Mami Mizutori, the Head of National Disaster Management Authority, His Excellency Mr. Suharyanto, State Secretary, Delegate for Swiss Humanitarian Aid, Federal Department of Foreign Affairs, FDFA, His Excellency Manuel Bessler, and joining us virtually, the 5th President of the Republic of Indonesia, Her Excellency Mrs. Megawati Soekarno Putri. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to welcome you to the 7th session of the Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction Closing Ceremony. Before we continue the agenda, allow us please to showcase the highlights of our moments 23rd to the 28th of May 2022 in B. This is GP 2022. GP 2022. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, we now kindly invite Mr. Ricardo Mena, the Director of United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, as moderator to lead the next agenda. Mr. Ricardo Mena, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to everybody. Your Excellency, Ms. Megawati Soekarno Putri, President of the Republic of Indonesia, Ms. Mami Mizutori, Special Representative of the Secretary General for Disaster Risk Reduction, Your Excellency, Lieutenant General Suharyanto, Head of the National Disaster Management Agency of the Republic of Indonesia, Your Excellency, Mr. Sudirman, Deputy Coordinating Minister for Regional Development and Disaster Management, Coordinating Minister for Human Development and Cultural Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, Your Excellency, Mr. Manuel Bessler, State Secretary, Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation of the Federal Department of Foreign Affairs, Your Excellency Fabienne Rudyard, Ambassador and Permanent Representative of Indonesia to the United Nations, World Trade Organization and other international organizations in Geneva, and Ms. Elham Yousefian, Coordinator for Persons with Disabilities in the UNDRR Stakeholder Engagement Mechanism. Your Excellencies, distinguished representatives of intergovernmental organizations, United Nations agencies, international organizations, and stakeholder groups, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the closing ceremony of the 7th session of the Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction under the theme From Risk to Resilience Towards Sustainable Development for All in a COVID-19 Transformed World. It has been indeed a very exciting week for all of us. It is now my honor to invite Her Excellency Megawati Soekarno-Putri, 5th President of the Republic of Indonesia, to provide her remarks. Your Excellency, you have the floor.
Thank you. Yang Mulia Deputi Sekretaris Jenderal Perserikatan Bangsa-Bangsa, Yang Mulia Wakil Khusus Sekretaris Jenderal PBB untuk Pengurangan Risiko Bencana, UNDRR, Menko PMK Indonesia yang mempresentasikan ringkasan co-chair, perwakilan pemangku kepentingan, para perempuan penyandang disabilitas, yang kami hormati Bapak Manuel Bessier, Kepala Bantuan Kemanusiaan Swiss, yang kami hormati Deputi Direktur Jenderal Badan Pembangunan dan Kerjasama Swiss, Departemen Luar Negeri Federal Swiss, hadirin dan hadirat sekalian yang saya hormati. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya. Suatu kehormatan bagi saya untuk menyampaikan sambutan pada acara yang sangat penting ini. Saya sungguh memberikan apresiasi telah memilih Bali sebagai tempat pertemuan global PBB dalam rangka pengurangan risiko bencana. Bali yang terkenal sebagai Pulau Dewata ini memiliki tradisi spiritual keagamaan dan kebudayaan khas Bali yang tidak sama dengan di India, yakni suatu perayaan yang disebut Nyepi. Melalui Nyepi, bumi diistirahatkan dengan tidak melakukan aktivitas apapun selama 24 jam. Selama Nyepi, tidak boleh menyalakan api ataupun lampu penerangan. Semua berkontemplasi dalam keheningan. Di Bali ini juga hidup falsafah kebahagiaan. Trihita Karana. Menurut falsafah ini, kebahagiaan umat manusia terjadi dalam keseimbangan dengan Sang Pencipta, dengan seluruh isi alam raya, dan dengan sesama manusia. Karena itulah di Bali ini alam dirawat dengan sangat baik, penuh cinta sebagai kesadaran kesatuan kosmologi kehidupan. Pimpinan dan hadirin sekalian, Presiden Jokowi di dalam pidato pembukaan telah menyampaikan bahwa bencana alam menjadi keseharian kami. Sebab Indonesia berada di kawasan Ring of Fire dan juga sebagai sebuah negara terbesar archipelago di dunia. Berbagai pandangan yang telah disampaikan semakin memperluas perspektif bencana. Indonesia misalnya, kami memiliki pengalaman baru, di mana beberapa waktu yang lalu, kawasan Indonesia bagian timur, yaitu Kabupaten Flores, menderita akibat badai tropis siklon yang sebelumnya tidak pernah terjadi. Selain itu, tentu dunia internasional mungkin mengingat Indonesia pernah mengalami tsunami di Aceh. Korbannya begitu banyak. Inilah bencana ekologi nyata yang kini ada di Indonesia dan bisa saja terjadi di belahan bumi lainnya. Saya sangat menaruh perhatian yang begitu besar terhadap bencana ekologi akibat global warming. Kerusakan ekologi dan eksploitasi alam telah berjalan masif sejak terjadinya revolusi industri. Eksploitasi alam yang tidak terkendali menciptakan ancaman terhadap kemanusiaan, juga bagi peradaban umat manusia. Kita sering tidak menyadari berbagai bencana tersebut menguatkan sehingga kesadaran kita sebagai warga dunia. Kita menghuni planet bumi yang sama dan hanya satu-satunya. Kesemuanya mengikuti dialektika hukum alam. Seluruh interaksi umat manusia menciptakan saling ketergantungan. Demikian halnya juga kerusakan lingkungan. Industri tidak ramah lingkungan di sebuah negara atau pembuangan sampah tidak terkendali ke lautan membawa kerusakan ekosistem bersama, kerusakan planet bumi kita. Kebakaran hutan yang masif yang dipicu ulah manusia sendiri dan diperparah oleh perubahan iklim menjadi persoalan semua warga dunia. Berbagai bencana tersebut dalam cara pandang masyarakat Bali merupakan manifestasi penderitaan bumi. Inilah local wisdom yang menyadarkan bumi milik kita semua. Juga dari Bali inilah semangat nyepi, semangat mengistirahatkan bumi, dan juga sebuah sesanti Trihita Karana. Kita gelorakan bagi dunia. Hadirin dan hadirat sekalian, ketika menjadi Presiden Republik kelima, saya berupaya mengatasi bencana alam, dan itu telah saya lakukan. Badan Search and Rescue diperkuat, membentuk Badan Nasional Penanggulangan Bencana, BNPB, memperkuat peran dan fungsi Badan Meteorologi, Klimatologi, dan Geofisika, BMKG, pada fungsi strategis termasuk early warning system melalui aplikasi kemajuan teknologi. Semua badan tersebut langsung bertanggung jawab kepada Presiden. Begitu juga sebagai kapasitas saya sebagai Ketua Umum Partai Politik, yaitu Partai Demokrasi Indonesia Perjuangan, saya membentuk Badan Penanggulangan Bencana, Baguna. Saya tentunya harus bangga, hanya satu-satunya partai di Indonesia yang memiliki badan mitigasi bencana. Namun kesemuanya saya merasa belumlah cukup. Saya selalu mencermati laporan BMKG, bagaimana dunia menghadapi semakin cepatnya global warming yang begitu serius, kenaikan muka air laut, ketidakpastian iklim, dan berbagai fenomena alam lainnya yang makin hari makin memperparah flora fauna kita. Dengan dampaknya yang sangat besar, bencana ekologi harus dijawab dengan segera melalui tindakan nyata segera. Hadirin dan saudara sekalian, dalam jangka menengah dan panjang, dunia diprediksi akan menghadapi persoalan kerawanan pangan. Beberapa waktu yang lalu saya melihat yang namanya film bagaimana padang pasir semakin menjadi melebar yang akibatnya kerusakan ekologi dan anomali iklim. Pangan menyentuh kehidupan dasar setiap manusia. Jangan sampai krisis pangan menjadi persoalan masa depan. Kita harus segera mencegah hal ini bersama-sama. Karena itulah, melalui forum ini, saya menyerukan agar dunia bersatu dan bekerja sama agar krisis pangan tidak terjadi, tidak membelah, membagi-bagi negara-negara. Tetapi mari bersatu padu untuk supaya manusia yang berada di dunia yang hanya satu-satunya ini tetap mendapatkan pangan yang cukup. Atas dasar hal tersebut, melalui forum ini pula, saya mendorong pentingnya penggalangan dan kerjasama internasional melalui PBB. Misalnya, dengan memperkuat organisasi meteorologi dunia, World Meteorological Organization atau WMO, yang terintegrasi dengan BMKG di semua negara untuk dapat mempercepat signal-signal ketika akan terjadinya bencana. Kerjasama tersebut penting bagi peningkatan kapasitas mitigasi bencana, capacity building management penanggulangan bencana, serta kemampuan dalam memprediksi bencana akibat tsunami, badai siklon, dan bencana iklim lainnya. Sampai sekarang menurut saya, yang belum dapat dilakukan adalah dengan tepat, dengan perfect, dengan waktu yang betul-betul dapat diprediksi dengan sekali lagi ketepatan. Maka kapan terjadinya bencana tersebut? Yang baru bisa dilakukan adalah sebuah prediksi sampai saat ini. Hal yang tidak kalah mendesak adalah perluasan fungsi BMKG di negara-negara berkembang di dalam perakiraan iklim bagi kepentingan pertanian dan mitigasi bencana. Bagi Indonesia sendiri, kerjasama internasional merupakan bagian kepribadian kami. Demikian halnya tugas Indonesia bagi kepentingan umat manusia sedunia. Kami memiliki falsafah Pancasila. Di dalamnya terkandung nilai ketuhanan, kemanusiaan, nasionalisme, demokrasi, dan keadilan sosial. Dengan falsafah ini, bangsa Indonesia telah dapat membuat sebuah sejarah yang belum ada duanya lagi dengan menyelenggarakan Konferensi Asia Afrika pada tahun 1955. Atas dasar hal tersebut, marilah kita mantapkan solidaritas seluruh bangsa, seluruh negara. Perkuatlah kerjasama seluruh civil society, kerjasama seluruh perguruan tinggi bagi pengembangan, riset, dan inovasi untuk kepentingan umat manusia sedunia. Terima kasih atas seluruh kontribusi pemikiran dan tekad memperkuat kerjasama internasional bagi dunia yang damai, lestari, asri, dan teruslah perkuat kesadaran bahwa kita hidup di bumi satu, menjaga keseimbangan hidup planet bumi yang kita cintai ini. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi, Santi, Santi Om.
I thank you, Your Excellency, for your remarks. I would now invite Ms. Elham Yousefian, Coordinator for Persons with Disabilities and the UARR Stakeholder Engagement Mechanism. Ms. Yousefian will present the main outcomes of the Stakeholder Forum. You have the floor, Madam.
Thank you very much. Dear Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this is my honor to represent the stakeholder engagement mechanism of UNDRR, which includes 17 constituencies who have been working together tirelessly to represent the voice of different groups in the disaster risk reduction platform. I'm here to share priorities that our group have been discussed and worked together, well put together in our declaration as well. First of all, 7 years upon adoption of the Sendai Framework, we still believe that the whole society approach and the whole government approach is the key ultimate solution to reduce risk and enhance resilience. But by whole society approach, we mean all society, regardless of gender, nationality, race, disability, indigenous status, color, religion, poverty, economic status, or having displaced or refugee status. And by whole government approach, we mean that every single sector of the government must be involved and have plans specifically how they want to be involved and what they want to for the world that the number of disasters and the aggravation of disasters is enhancing every single day. We also request the development and using of local knowledge, including indigenous knowledge, which ensures efficiency, acceptability, and innovativeness of our solutions. So far, the mainstream solutions have not worked so well. So hopefully, local solutions would work much better. Eventually, we all know that climate is a real crisis threatening life of our planet and next generations. So we heard the voice of the youth loud and clear during our conversations. We all want that the actions on climate and disasters be aligned. We right now, for example, know that the global stakeholding on climate is going forward, and we also have the midterm review on disaster risk reduction. We feel that these actions can be aligned and complementary. We think that climate adaptation and disaster risk reduction can act complementarity to make sure that we have real solutions for our real problems. Finally, I just want to remind everybody that the climate crisis is urgent, so requires urgent and unified action for everybody. And diverse leadership is the guarantee that we can achieve better solutions. So we see how everything works together to make sure that the solutions are created by everybody, includes everybody, reaches everybody, and hopefully protects everybody. Thank you.
I thank you, Ms. Elham Yousefian, and I would like now to invite His Excellency Lieutenant General Suharyanto, Head of the National Disaster Management Agency of the Republic of Indonesia, to present the key points of the co-chair's summary. You have the floor, Your Excellency.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Bapak Ibu yang terhormat, izinkan saya menyampaikan ringkasan hasil rangkaian penyelenggaraan sesi ke-7 Global Platform on Disaster Risk Reduction. Tema platform global adalah dari risiko ke resiliensi, menuju pembangunan berkelanjutan untuk semua dalam transformasi dunia pasca COVID-19. Melalui tema ini, kita belajar dari pandemi dan jalan keluar untuk mengatasi darurat iklim, Platform global menekankan tindak lanjut yang penting untuk mempercepat upaya mengembangkan upaya dunia dalam mencapai tujuan Agenda Pembangunan Berkelanjutan 2030 dan kerangka Sendai untuk pengurangan risiko bencana. Presiden Indonesia sebagai tuan rumah platform global ini mendorong masyarakat internasional untuk meningkatkan kerjasama dalam manajemen risiko bencana melalui kolaborasi menuju resiliensi berkelanjutan berdasarkan prinsip-prinsip. Pertama, penguatan budaya sadar bencana dan edukasi untuk pengurangan risiko. Kedua, investasi pada sains, teknologi, dan inovasi. Ketiga, infrastruktur tangguh bencana dan perubahan iklim. Dan keempat, implementasi dari komitmen-komitmen global. Sejalan dengan tema presidensi Indonesia pada G20, Recover Together, Recover Stronger, platform global memberikan peluang yang unik dan tepat untuk menunjukkan pentingnya nilai multilaterisme yang inklusif, solidaritas, dan kerjasama internasional. Platform global ini juga merupakan seruan bagi negara-negara untuk mempercepat implementasi seluruh prioritas kerangka Sendai guna menghentikan laju peningkatan dampak dan risiko bencana. Rekomendasi utama yang dihasilkan adalah penerapan pendekatan think resiliensi semua bentuk investasi dan pengambilan keputusan, mengintegrasikan kebijakan pengurangan risiko bencana melalui pendekatan pentahelik. Izinkan saya pada penutupan sesi ke-7 JPDRR hari ini tanggal 27 Mei 2022 menyampaikan 7 rekomendasi agenda Bali untuk resiliensi. 1. Pengurangan risiko bencana perlu diintegrasikan pada kebijakan-kebijakan utama pembangunan dan pembiayaan, legislasi, dan rencana pencapaian Agenda 2030. Platform global menyerukan transformasi mekanisme tata kelola risiko untuk memastikan pengelolaan risiko merupakan tanggung jawab bersama lintas sektor, sistem, skala, dan batas. Sejumlah contoh menunjukkan bahwa bekerja secara horizontal dan vertikal dapat membantu pemerintah untuk memecahkan masalah kesenjangan kelembagaan dan ego sektoral. 2. Hanya dengan perubahan sistemik kita dapat memperhitungkan kerugian yang sesungguhnya dari bencana dan kerugian dari ketiadaan aksi, serta membandingkannya dengan investasi dalam pengurangan risiko bencana. Contoh baik dari komitmen politik yang ditunjukkan dalam bentuk target anggaran yang disahkan dan mekanisme pelacak untuk pengurangan risiko bencana bermunculan yang harus dipromosikan dan direplikasi. Strategi pembiayaan pengurangan risiko bencana dapat mengarahkan dan memprioritaskan investasi dan harus dimasukkan dalam kerangka pembiayaan nasional yang terintegrasi. 3. Platform global diselenggarakan antara COP26 dan COP27 mencermati tingkat emisi saat ini jauh melebihi upaya mitigasi yang mengakibatkan peningkatan frekuensi dan intensitas kejadian bencana dan mengancam pencapaian Agenda 2030. Platform global meminta para pemerintah untuk menghormati komitmen yang dibuat di Glasgow untuk drastis meningkatkan pembiayaan dan dukungan untuk adaptasi dan resiliensi. Terdapat kebutuhan mendesak untuk meningkatkan pengurangan risiko bencana sebagai bagian dari solusi untuk mengatasi keadaan darurat iklim, seraya meningkatkan dan mencapai ambisi iklim. Tujuan global tentang adaptasi dan Santiago Network sebagai bagian dari mekanisme internasional untuk kerugian dan kerusakan menawarkan peluang yang tepat untuk menjadikan mekanisme dan instrumen pengurangan risiko bencana sebagai bagian yang tak terpisahkan dari aksi pengurangan iklim. Keempat, bencana memberikan dampak beda kepada setiap orang. Ini menyerukan pendekatan partisipatif dan berbasis HAM untuk memasukkan semua sesuai prinsip. Tidak ada apa-apa tentang kita tanpa kita. Dalam perencanaan pengurangan risiko bencana dan implementasinya pada masyarakat yang berisiko, investasi pada generasi muda dan profesional muda harus ditingkatkan untuk merangsang inovasi dan solusi kreatif. Harus ada komitmen ulang terhadap keterlibatan masyarakat dan pengurangan risiko bencana yang digerakkan oleh masyarakat serta mendukung struktur lokal yang ada dan membangun resiliensi. 5. Platform global memberikan rekomendasi yang dapat mendukung pelaksanaan seruan Sekretaris Jenderal PBB untuk memastikan setiap orang di muka bumi dilindungi oleh sistem peringatan dini dalam jangka waktu 5 tahun ke depan. Respon terhadap seruan tersebut harus mempertimbangkan rantai nilai peringatan dini yang berpusat pada masyarakat secara menyeluruh, dari ujung ke ujung, mulai dari penilaian risiko hingga infrastruktur dan menjangkau tujuan akhir. Pengembangan sistem peringatan dini multibahaya harus melibatkan masyarakat yang paling berisiko dengan kapasitas kelembagaan, keuangan dan sumber daya yang memadai untuk melakukan aksi berdasarkan peringatan dini. Ketersediaan dan kualitas data yang lebih baik, sumber daya keuangan, tata kelola yang efektif, dan mekanisme koordinasi yang lebih baik antara para pemangku kepentingan akan memperkuat sistem peringatan dini multibahaya, khususnya di negara-negara tertinggal, negara berkembang pulau kecil, dan wilayah Afrika. 6. Potensi pembelajaran transformatif dari pandemi COVID-19 harus diterapkan sebelum jendela peluang tersebut tertutup. Pendekatan saat ini untuk pemulihan dan rekonstruksi tidak cukup efektif dalam melindungi hasil pembangunan maupun dalam membangun kembali dengan lebih baik, lebih hijau, dan lebih adil. Ada kebutuhan untuk mendorong sistem manajemen risiko bencana yang adaptif dan responsif dengan kolaborasi multi pemangku kepentingan, disertai dengan empati, solidaritas, kerjasama, dan semangat kesukarelaan, khususnya untuk mengatasi ketidakadilan. Dan ketujuh, pelaporan yang komprehensif dan sistematis, termasuk tinjauan kemajuan mendalam terhadap semua target kerangka Sendai dan negara-negara anggota akan membantu menarik rekomendasi yang jelas untuk midterm review kerangka Sendai. Platform global menyerukan kepada semua negara anggota, organisasi regional, dan para pemangku kepentingan yang terlibat dalam midterm review kerangka Sendai ini untuk memahami dengan jelas tantangan dan hambatan implementasi dan mempercepat upaya untuk mencapai tujuan yang diinginkan pada tahun 2030. Sekian dan terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi 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 Om.
I thank you, Excellency Lieutenant General Suharyanto, for presenting the key points of the co-chair's summary of the Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction. I now would like to invite His Excellency Mr. Manuel Bessler, State Secretary of the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation, the Federal Department of Foreign Affairs, to please come to the stage.
Honorable Madam President, I still hope you hear us. Honorable Special Representative, Ms. Elham, Lieutenant General, Honorable Minister, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, I think a big thank you is in order. First of all, a thank you to Indonesia and Bali, to its government, to its people, to its hospitality. All the countless Indonesian colleagues here in the corridors that helped us the way to find the right place at the right time, to guide us around and to help us out. I think it's difficult to match this kind of hospitality. But also a big thank you to UNDRR. Madam Special Representative, you and your team filled these sessions with substance. You guided us through an intense couple of days and helped us, I think, to get a step forward. Also a big thank you to all the delegates here in the room, but of course also, we saw it, the numbers online. It's impressive to see this participation. It's encouraging. Ladies and gentlemen, the 7 points that we just heard from the Lieutenant General, they mark an important step in supporting the global dynamics driven by the Sendai Framework for Disaster Reduction. Under difficult, challenging conditions, we came here together and worked intensively. And I was actually encouraged and was excited by the buzz that we had here around us, particularly by the multifaceted community. Of course, there were bureaucrats like me, but very much the civil society was with us, very much the private sector, academia. We saw people from the youth, those who have to guide us in the future, those on who we count for the future. Your continued and strong work and conviction will be needed to drive this process forward. We are only midterm now, so we have still another half time to go, to adapt, to adjust, and to find the right way to come to the targets that we set at the very beginning. Switzerland will present a voluntary midterm report by September this year. This is an internal report that we, on one hand side, look what we achieved in Switzerland, but also internationally. It will look a bit back to the 7 years, but also forward to the second half of this period, 2015 to 2030. We encourage very much everybody to do this work, to do a bit of self-reflection, be critical with where you are now, and look with a lot of commitment to where you want to go for the next half-time. We know disaster risk reduction pays off. We have ample evidence and proof for that. Prevention saves lives. Prevention reduces costs, socially, economically, financially. So we have to invest in prevention. We have to work and continue the work. Switzerland is very proud that we can host UNDRR in Geneva. And I'm very thrilled to announce that the 8th Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction will be held again in Geneva in 2025. Minister, we will learn from what we had it or how we did it here. We want to do a climate smart conference. We want to do it hybrid. Of course, we appreciate people coming, and you're mostly welcome to Geneva. But we want also to make sure that we have the balance, the CO2 footprint, more or less in check. So we will see, and hopefully then we have even more technology at our disposal to have it as inclusive as possible, but also with a responsible carbon footprint. In this regard, soyez tous et toutes les bienvenus à Genève and very much welcome in 2025 to the spirit of Geneva.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur l'ambassadeur Manuel Bessler, pour l'invitation et votre parole. It is now my pleasure to pass the floor to Ms. Mami Mizutori, Special Representative of the Secretary General for Disaster Risk Reduction, to give her closing remarks. Sorry, G, you have the floor.
Thank you, Ricardo. Your Excellency, Madame Megawati Sukarnoputri, Your Excellency Pak Suharyanto, Your Excellency Pak Sun, Your Excellency Ambassador Manuel Bessler, Your Excellency Ambassador Fabian Rudyard, Ms. Yusufian, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, of course, I need to start by thanking the government of Indonesia, which we cannot say enough. We started 3 years ago, right after the end of the Global Platform 2019, when Indonesia decided to host this. Little should we know that a pandemic was going to start. And it was a challenge, indeed a challenge. Of course, we are now surrounded by many challenges, but this was a challenge that we had to overcome together. But the government of Indonesia never withdrew their support, never withdrew their intention to host. And of course, I must also thank the governor of Bali, because it is Bali, Indonesia, where we decided to hold this global platform. So thank you very much for your hospitality and your determination to host this global platform. Now, the substance of the global platform, what came out, has been so eloquently summarized by Pak Suharyanto in his readout of what came out. So I would just like to make a few reflections that I have from this conference. So first, I believe that we can really never underestimate the role that human decisions play, because actually we many times use the word natural disaster, but one of the campaigns that we have at UNDRR is that there is no such thing as a natural disasters. Hazards turn into disasters because our human decisions do not take us to reducing vulnerability, exposure. Disasters are, in one way or another, all human-made. Because if we have more decisions that are informed, then of course hazards will continue to come, and we are at a very difficult time with the climate emergency and the pandemic hitting us together, but we can definitely lessen the impact of these. But the good news is that because it's human decisions that make disasters more terrible, it is also human decisions that can reverse this tendency. And this is what the whole global platform is about. We talk about how can we change the way that our human decisions are made in order to reduce the impact of hazards, reduce the impact of disasters when they hit us, and make sure that the most vulnerable people, the most vulnerable countries are part of these solutions. So that's my first reflection. Let's never underestimate the role that human decisions can play, both negatively and positively. The second reflection is on the great diversity of the people here at this conference. All United Nations conferences now are very diverse in terms of who take place. But I'm very proud that this global platform really reflects the whole of society approach of the Sendai Framework. And we have people from, of course, all over the world. But when I talk about diversity, it's about gender, it's about race, it's about age, and it's about disability or socioeconomic status, and many more. And I'm very proud to report to you that of the persons with disability who participated to this conference, the number has doubled since the last global platform. We have 200 persons living with disability who joined us in person here in Bali, Indonesia. And I must once again thank Indonesia for this, because when we started to prepare, we put this as a core element of how the setup of this wonderful venue should be. And as a result, you are seeing all the wonderful accessibility in many ways, physically, but also in the way that the conference has been taken forward. And this has been a decision, that agreement that we had with our host, and I believe that this will be one wonderful legacy that we can leave here at this conference center. My third and final reflection is, of course, the rich variety and fields represented at this global platform, which was eloquently described, the outcome by Pak Suharyanto. Disaster risk reduction is about everything, so sometimes it gets a bit lost. It's not about one single thing, but it is about everything. Every sector needs to have a disaster risk reduction direction. Every discipline has to come in so that we have strong, bold evidence to build on. And that requires variety of expertise. And once again, that is why we can really work together with so many different stakeholders, from the academia, science and technology, media, not only reporting about disaster risk reduction, but also being part of, again, the solution. So, multi-sectoral approach, and I really encourage the media to please keep on talking about the importance of prevention. You can report, hopefully, less about disasters in the future. And this will lead to the best risk governance that we can have. So I look forward to seeing what has come out from this global platform to be carried on to the COP27, to the G20, and of course to the midterm review of the Sendai Framework, which will culminate in 2023 in New York at an intergovernmental high-level meeting. Now, I'm delighted that Ambassador Wessler announced that the next global platform will be hosted once again in beautiful Geneva, Switzerland, our home. And we hope to bring what came out from this global platform to Switzerland, but in a much more enhanced way. We have 3 years, which is not a very long time actually, but if we don't really expedite, accelerate our actions, then we cannot achieve the Sendai Framework by 2030. And I'm coming to the end of my remarks, and of course I'd like to once again many people, first of all of you participants, because you are the people who make this conference a reality. So thank you very much. I know that for many of you, the journey to Bali was not easy. Because of COVID, it's becoming more difficult to travel long hauls, and many borders are still quite not closed, but restricted. So thanks again for your courage and your perseverance in traveling from where you did to Bali, Indonesia. Thank you, participants. But I also want to thank the people who joined online, because at a global platform, as you can easily imagine, there is a lot of time difference. So while we speak right now at the closing ceremony, in other parts of the world, it'll be early in the morning, late at night, but we have had thousands of people who participated and online, and also those who joined to listen in. So that really demonstrates the strength of this agenda. So thank you for those who joined online. Now, I would also like to thank the people who made this possible in terms of the organization. And this is first and foremost the National Organizing Committee of Indonesia, which consists of many ministries. It was a whole of government achievement on the part of Indonesia. I would also like to once again thank the governor of Bali and the people of Bali to welcome us so warmly to this beautiful island of God. I hope that everybody who goes back after this conference can share your experience here in Bali and entice more and more people to come here to enjoy Bali as we did. Thank you, Governor. And of course, conferences cannot happen if you do not have people on the ground working, the conference services, the interpreters, the local staff, the security personnel, the caterers. I would like to thank all these people because you have made this conference 5 long days work. Thank you very much. And finally, I would like to thank some very special people who worked really together. So, Suharyanto, you, of course, but your team were dedicated and never gave up. Thank you very much. I also thank the wonderful team of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because in working with Ambassador Yu in Geneva and also working here with the young diplomats, it was tremendous for us, and it was one work. Thank you very much. And of course, today we have you, Pak Sudirman, the coordinating minister, was always some encouragement for us. And there were some moments when we had to agree on difficult issues because of the situation. Your minister was always encouraging us and helping us overcome those challenges. So please convey my thanks to your minister. Thank you very much. And last but not least, with your permission, I would like to also thank my own colleagues of UNDRR. We are a very small organization. We are only 120 people globally in Geneva and in 5 regional offices and some sub-regional offices. And when we have a global platform, we're not working from 3 years before it happens with dedicated people. In this case, the senior coordinator for the global platform is Elena Palm and her team. And of course, there's a lot of admin around this, money, people. So Sandhya Prasad and her team, thank you. But at the end, it's the whole of UNDRR achievement. And so of the 120, around 80 of us are here. And I am very, not only proud, but it makes me really very happy that I have such dedicated colleagues that work tirelessly for the cause of saving lives through prevention. So thank you very much to my colleagues. So this global platform is closing now, but it is a beginning of another journey. And I hope that we can all go through that journey together. It's not an easy one. Sometimes we feel that the risk gap is increasing, that we're not being able to narrow the gap, and the gap of risk is getting bigger and bigger. And I fear that one day people will think that we invest so much time and money into prevention, but we're not succeeding. People are dying, our livelihoods are being affected, our economy is being lost, and they may say, well, why invest in prevention? I'm going to give up. Well, I think we should never give up, and for not giving up, we need you together with us. So thank you very much for coming, and let's keep on the journey of prevention. Thank you.
I thank Ms. Mami Mitsutori for her remarks, and I would like now to ask our Master of Ceremonies to guide us through the last part of our closing ceremony. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ricardo Mena, United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction Director. And now for the grand finale. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, Goddess Durga is a goddess, mother of the universe and all its contents. Kirti is a personality of caring for others, generosity, selflessness, obedience to obligations, and creative expressions. A presentation of a dance, beginning with the as a virtue of goodness, and Rangda, the embodiment of the goddess Durga, as a form of strength, wisdom, influence, and power. Goddess Durga is embodied, having many manifestations. In this dance, we hope to showcase that our life in the universe will always be protected by the Mother of all mothers. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Durga Kirti. GP2022 in Bali, Indonesia. Excellencies, this concludes the closing ceremony of the 7th session of the Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction. We're having dinner at the Peninsula, and the shuttle are ready to take you there from the East Lobby. Once again, we kindly thank you for being here at exotic, beautiful Bali, Indonesia.